This is a question I gotta ask. I gotta ask you all. I gotta ask everybody. You know, why do we get mad when people identify us as something or say we're something, and then we do history and find out that's not our history or that's not who we are, and we want to fight against certain things, but still identifying ourselves with what we have been identified by those who supposedly tricked us. So, my point, if you all remember, heck, if you're going anything, but job applications, background checks, applying for school, FAFSA, even dating sites, you will see black, you will see white, and then you will see Asian, African, American, Indian. Then you'll see two or more races, and then you'll see other. And I wonder, like, why why everybody else across the globe have their own, and then when it comes to America, black and white. But when a person says, like, I don't agree, I'm not black, I'm not white, I am who I am. I am who I am in Christ. But as far as ethnic background, I'm mixed in. So I'm not about to say, oh, I'm black, I'm white. I'm not going to be put in that certain type of group. People hear that and look at me or look at other people who have said it before me as, you're confused. How am I confused when everybody who has a problem with racism, no matter what complexion, no matter what belief, whatever, you have a problem with racism so much, you speak against it so much, you go against it so much. I mean, you cry about it, you pray about it, you die about it, you kill about it, you march about it, you steal about it, you smoke about it, you drink about it. You heard me? You all this about it, you about it. You no limit. But to turn around and say you're black and white, say you did your history, when history shows, and this is just from a light research, not a real in-depth research, that they came about in the 1800s. But it came about to put, for the United States, white and black by a hierarchy to push slaves, to push racial profiling, to push a racial divide and conquer pretty much. And we'll go all the way back and say slaves and, we was from Africa or we was from Asia or we was from this and that and, and we find out we were, it's funny to me, it's not funny, but I'm just, because I hear so much. We were slaves, we were from Australia and, we were put on a boat. They made us eat pork and bacon, whatever. And so, and you're like, I'm dressing how I'm from. I'm Ethiopian, so I'm dressing that. Cool. Perfect. So glad you know what's your background. Perfect. That's going to explain a lot. It's going to explain why you look the way you look. It's going to explain why certain spirits oppress you, because certain spirits from certain areas or certain bloodlines or certain ethnic backgrounds plays a part in your spiritual battle, whether it could be sorcery, whether it can be pride and arrogance, whether it can be poverty, whether it can feel like the sense of oppressed, like I'm rich more than everybody, and you come to find you from a rich bloodline, a rich black background. You may not be rich, but for some reason why you always felt like you was better than everybody because your bloodline or your background of where you from had that type of stigma of we're above. And then turn around and still identify. They identify themselves by the name, about the group, about a slang that was given from those who they are fighting against. It's like you're arguing with a woman or a female arguing with a man, and they're like, you're trash, you're nothing, you're trash, you're nothing, you're trash, you're nothing, you're trash, you're nothing. And you find out that, you find in your history that your family was, let's just say, beauty queens, or the male found out his family was, was somebody, and that there was some inheritance left for them, and that their name was in the will, and that they have property for them, and that they have a company that could have been passed on to their name. But they didn't know, because they didn't know. All they was told was, you're trash, you're poor, you're trash, you're poor, you're trash, you're poor, you're nothing, all this type of stuff. Then they find out, and now they begin to dress different. They begin to walk different in certain occasions. They begin to talk different. They begin to, when somebody call them trash or nothing or poor, they stand up. Hold on now. Hey, you ain't, I know who I am now. Hey. They saying all that, but still a post. I'm poor, or a post. I'm rich, but I'm trashy. You see what I'm saying? Like, you still calling yourself, like, you'll argue that in front of people. I'm not, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. But then it's still call yourself trash, or call yourself poor, or call yourself nothing when you're upset, even when you're excited. How people say, we just poor folk, got a little bit of money from such and such. So you're poor folk from this small town that has money. You was hating people calling you poor because it's all you heard, and now you have money and you're still identifying as poor, but have the nerve to get upset at someone or the people who called you poor, and you still identify as being poor. That doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, speaking about it doesn't make any sense. It's like, what are you, the N-word, we're going to take that power back, or calling Caucasian people, saltine crack or whatever, or homeless, whatever. That right there is like, you don't want to be called that. That was racial profiling. That was people who hated how you look, or people who wanted you to see yourselves as that. But you would say, I'm going to take back my power, and we're going to accept it, and then get mad if you get called it. But then get mad when you find out that that's not who you are. But instead of use it towards each other as a joke, or as in to belittle someone, and get mad if somebody else use it, but you're going to use it, but you're not that. You don't like it. I'm mad if they call me this, but I'm going to use it. I'm mad that they even identify me as this, but I'm going to call myself that. I'm upset that society says I'm this word, but I'm going to rap about it and sing about it and call my children that. It's very confusing. It's very confusing. Man, we have to pick a side, man.